Hello there everybody, welcome to Nogard's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making Bolognese spaghetti. We're going to be using 2 cups of tomato, 1.5 cups of onions, 1/4 cup of carrots, 2 tablespoons of oregano, 5 garlic cloves, 1 tablespoon of mint, 1/2 tablespoon of peppermint, and 2.5 pounds of ground beef and ground pork. I use half ground pork and half ground beef. Now first, to make the sauce, what we're gonna do is you can either dice or you can put in the food processor the onions and the tomatoes. So I'm gonna use the food processor, and we remove the edges. And if the first layer is this thin layer, we also remove that. There we go. Once we have done that, we cut our onions so they fit our food processor. There we go. And we give it small chops. We want it a bit smaller than that. There we go. This is the size we want to chop down our onions. So let's finish with that. We also start heating up our pan so we can saute our onions. Once our pan is heated up, we add our onion and we cook it until it's transparent and it gets a golden color, a golden brown color. So we add all of this. Go. Anything to go to waste. And we're gonna cook it at medium heat for around 10 minutes until the onion has turned golden brown. Make sure not to stir it constantly. Let it sit for a while, then mix it around, and so on and so forth. Next, we're going to be adding the garlic. So for the garlic, we can either cut it or just smash it with the skin on, so it's easier to peel. Go. Take out the top layer of the skin. Now we remove the, like with the onion, we remove the edges of the garlic. And we chop the garlics. You can either use a garlic presser or just chop them with a knife. Make sure to stir your onion once in a while. You don't want it to burn. Once we have our garlic finely chopped and prepped, and our onion still not ready, we can move on to prepping the tomatoes. So for the tomatoes, we're also going to process it, or you can dice it. If you're going to process it, all you have to do is remove this small stem. There we go. So now that our onion has turned kind of a goldish color, it's still not ready, but this is the perfect time to add our garlic. We add our garlic, we stir it, and by the time the onion turns golden, the garlic will be also ready. Make sure it doesn't burn, because you don't want that bitter taste of burnt onion. So now with our tomato, cut them down in size, just so they fit our processor. Like that. Like that. Now we add it to our processor. We give it small chops. Remember, we don't want it to be liquid. We just want it to be cut down in size. We add it, secure it. And there we go. Make sure that when you're cooking your onion, you have plenty of oil, because you want to saute it. You don't want it to cook, so you need oil for it to saute, or else it won't turn brown, or else it won't turn golden. So there you have it, our brown golden onion. So now we add the tomato. Mix it all up so the tomato hydrates the onion and it doesn't dry up. Now we turn down our heat to low, because we want our tomato to simmer in the juices it releases. And finally, our carrots, we are going to peel them, and you can either decide to dice them or grate them, as I am going to do. The reason I like to add carrots is because if your tomatoes aren't ripe, they'll give this acid flavor, and to remove that flavor, all you need is a bit of sweetness. So you can either use sugar or carrots. I prefer carrots. Now our carrots have been added. Mix this so all the flavors combine and they meld together. Now this is when we add pepper, then full pepper. We want it to be well seasoned, and salt. There we go. Mix it up again. And as you can see, the tomato is starting to secrete all its juice. This is what we want, and we want it to simmer in the tomato juice. So now that it's been simmering a while, I can see that my tomatoes weren't ripe enough, so they didn't have enough juice. So what we're gonna add some tomato juice and some water. So I'm gonna be adding equal parts of tomato juice and water. So I'm going to add half a cup of tomato juice, with half a cup of water. Pour that in. You want all your vegetables to be covered in liquid. See, there we go. This is what we want. And now that we have this level of liquid, we add our peppermint, our mint. Make sure, try to avoid putting the stems in there, and our oregano. Have in small pieces. Mix this up and let it simmer at low heat. The longer it simmers, the better flavor it's gonna have, but you don't want it to dry up. So I'm gonna simmer this for about 45 minutes. You can simmer it for longer and the flavor will be intensified. Once the sauce has started to boil, remember, always the golden rule, you have to taste for seasoning. So let's give it a little bit. Let's taste it. Okay, you can see it needs a bit more pepper and a lot more salt. Since I added the water and the tomato juice, it's diluted the seasoning I put before. Now we're going to start heating up our pan without our oil, because we're using olive oil, and olive oil is an oil that you don't want to heat up or you don't want it to burn because it's bad for your health. So let us mix our meat. As I told you, I'm using half my meat of ground beef and half the meat of ground pork. You can use all ground pork, all ground beef, whatever you want. I just prefer the flavor of pork and meat together. It gives it a strong punch. We mix this well and we season it. We're gonna season it with salt. Lawyer salt is the one I use. It's seasoned salt and pepper. Well seasoned, remember. And salt and pepper. A bit more. There we go. And I also like to add a dash of Worcestershire sauce. Now that our pan has heated up, we're gonna add our oil. There we go. Plentiful oil. We want a thin layer of oil all around the pan. And we wait for the oil to heat up. We have here our sauce, still simmering. Haven't tasted it for a second time. So let's mix it. Let's grab a piece and taste it. Here we go. There we go. It's good. Good balance between salt and pepper, and you can taste the herbs there. As you can see, it's all coming together, and it's only been 10 minutes. So once our oil has heated up, if you're not sure if your meat is well seasoned, grab a small piece of meat and we cook it. Just this small piece of meat, we're gonna cook it. Flip it over. Oh. Come on, you piece of meat. Don't fight me. Careful with the oil, it jumps a lot. Okay, once our meat is ready, let it cool off and taste it. There we go, let's taste our meat. Once you taste it, you can know what's missing. Mine is missing salt, a lot of salt, and a small amount of pepper. Okay, now that you have your ground beef and your pan is hot, pour it all in there. And what we want to do is we want to separate it into small clumps. So we're going to have to be stirring this constantly. We don't want balls to form. We want it to separate evenly. So let's start mixing. Okay, and over here we're going to heat up some water, and we want our water to be as salty as seawater so the pasta doesn't taste like nothing. Go. We let that boil, and we're still here with our endless efforts of browning our ground beef and pork. And now we have here our meat. We have finished browning it, so we turn that off. Our sauce, it has been simmering for an hour, so we also turn that off. And here we have our pasta, which we are cooking in the salted water, and we cook it until it is soft and translucent. So now, here, since I'm not going to be using all of my ground beef and all of my sauce, I'm going to be saving some. I mixed in another container some sauce with the beef, so the beef starts marinating in the flavor of the sauce. And we're going to put this on top of the pasta. Now that the pasta has been cooking for 10 minutes, let us see if it is done. Grab a little piece. It's soft. Translucent. Let's just see if it is ready. Yep, there we have it. And now we turn this off, and since we don't want it to keep on cooking, we're going to take it out of the hot water and we're going to run some cold water on top of it so it cools down and it doesn't keep on cooking. So we have here our pasta. We get all the water out of it. Make sure nothing is left down here. And we run a bit of cold water on it so it doesn't continue cooking. See all that steam? That means it's still hot, that means it's still cooking, that means it can overcook. So we want to cool it down so it doesn't continue to cook. Once it's warm enough that you can touch it and you can grab it without burning, you can turn your water off, let the water sift through because you don't want any moisture on your pasta. And here we have it. Here's the spaghetti alla bolognese. So leave a like and subscribe if you like the recipe, and leave in the comments down below any other recipe you would like to try. Thank you.